Hey guys, so we're going to practice functions or not. This is something you did last year quite a bit, so it's really a review for you. So I'm going to go through this really quick. So to determine if a relation is a function or not a function, we always pay attention to the x value. So we're going to create an example right here, and we're going to make a mapping. Ignore my ovals, they're horrible. Be sure you put these examples in your journal. So this side is my x side and this side is my y side. You can see the blue from the other side. And then we're going to put some x values. Let's say -2, -1, and 3. And then we're going to put some y values. We're going to say -3, -1, 0, 1, and 2. And so now we're going to pair them up. So let's give -2 to -1. Let's give -1 to -3 and -1 to 0. And let's give -1 to +1, and that leaves -3 to 2. Okay, so we know that this example is not a function because this x value right here is being shared. We always pay attention to my x's. So this one is a function, but once I get to -1, it is being shared. So -1 is being used multiple times, and we can't have that. It's being used multiple times. I'm going to take this information and I'm going to create some ordered pairs from it. So my first ordered pair is -2, -1. My second ordered pair is -1, -3. I also have -1, 0. And I also have -1, 1. And then I have 3, 2. So we have to establish, is it a function or is it not? So I'm going to look at my x values. It is not a function because my x's are repeating. Alright, I'm going to take that information and I'm going to create a table. Okay, so I have -2 with -1, I have -1 with -3, I have -1 with 0, -1 with 1, I have 3 with 2. This is not a function because I use -1 multiple times. Okay. So then I'm going to take all of that information and I'm going to create a graph. Hold on, go right here. Super clicking. I'm going to do x-axis, y-axis. I'm going to do 3 tick marks in each direction. And then I'm going to plot my points. So my first point was at -2, -1, -2, -1. Then I have -1, -3. I have -1, 0. And I have -1, +1. And then I have 3, 2. Okay. So here I see that it is not a function. Here I passed the vertical line test. Here I don't pass the vertical line test. Here I pass. So this is not a function because it fails the vertical line test. Okay? Right there. So the next note that we have, so it's the first thing, are these guys right here. Okay? So what we did was we glued down the white one first, and then we're going to glue the yellow one on top of it. Okay, so I'm going to look at this one, and we have to determine if it's a function. So if we do the vertical line test, it does not pass the vertical line test right there. Okay, so this is not a function because it fails the vertical line test. We don't have to circle both reasons. We just circled one or the other. Okay. So then I'm going to look here. Negative 4 is not being used twice. 6 is being used once. 10 is being used once. 0 is negative 5. They're all being used once. So this is a function because it does not repeat my x's. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do my vertical line test. This graph passes the vertical line test, so yes, it's a function. Okay? I'm going to come to the next one. I'm going to look at all my x values. Being used once, being used once, being used once. This is being used 2 times, so therefore it is not a function. And then the x values failed. They repeated twice, okay? So here, if I did my vertical line test, it passes the vertical line test. And then we're going to write passes, drop lines. They call it the drop line test. Then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to look at my x values being used once, being used once, being used once, being used once, being used once. Therefore, it is a function. And then we're going to write it passes the do not repeat x coordinate, okay? You're going to have these 3 to do on your own. Be sure you do those 3 on your own. And then if you have any questions, feel free to email me.